What's up, guys? Welcome back. We have Metroid Prime 4, brand new trailer to watch from Nintendo, from the Nintendo Direct today. Retro Studios is really cooking here. Let's look at Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and we'll analyze it at the end. I got kind of a lot to say, so let's do this. Wow. Gorgeous, beautiful. Beautiful music.
This is the unknown planet Viewros.
Planet Viewros.
Here, Samus finds a verdant jungle with a colossal tree at its center.
Man, just look at the detail, though.
In order to survive and escape this planet that she was unexpectedly transported to, Samus must scan stone figures and other relics to carve a path forward.
Ancient Lemorne.
She's not alone, though. Abhorrent, alien creatures living in the jungle are waiting to strike.
Those look very familiar. Metroid Prime 3 creatures. Interesting.
As she explores the planet, Samus is granted mysterious and ancient powers.
Mysterious and ancient powers.
Psychic abilities.
Psychic abilities.
These powers allow Samus to operate mechanisms and to open doors. They also allow her to control the trajectory of her beams with the power of her mind.
That's a first. Wow.
But why were these powers bestowed upon Samus?
Ooh. Chosen one. Man, look at the detail. The textures. Insane.
And what will be her fate after being summoned to Viewros?
It's like a Metroid taking control over somebody.
Beyond space and time are beginning to weave a new tale.
Placed faith in you, chosen one. Coming 2025. No release date. Switch 2 version? Most definitely. Oh my goodness, look at that suit. It looks amazing. Woof. Wow. I got a lot to say about this. This is so cool. Yeah, so the detail of this environment looks amazing. Like, obviously we know that this is running on the Switch. When I'm seeing it now blowing up, you can see it's a little bit, some jaggies here and there, a little lower resolution, but it's not like 720p. You can tell it's likely running at that 900p level that they had Metroid Prime remastered on. They did a whole analysis of the original trailer, and they figured out, like Digital Foundry figured out it was basically like 900p, just like the original game, with possibly no anti-aliasing. You can kind of see here some jagged edges on stuff, but besides that, this looks incredibly detailed. Like, you see all the detail in the environment here. Like, you see the texture detail is amazing. You see all the fine little detail on the the trees, and just this environment is full of lush green vegetation and detail and textures. There's no like flatness about it. A lot of the Switch games just come off as looking rather flat. This looks like a polished amazing quadruple A game on the Switch. Actually, it doesn't even look like a Switch game. That's how you know it's Retro Studios, is when they create something that looks beyond what the current console can do. And this is right directly from YouTube, but you can see the texture detail on the rocks. This is just insanely good. Basically, we're approaching pretty much like a PlayStation 4 level of graphics here for a Switch game. And like the PS4 is around 3 to 4 times more powerful or so than the Switch. So what Retro Studios is doing here is nothing short of incredible. And you see the model of Samus. Samus has now this purple like power infused in her by whatever happened in the story. Like she got transported here. We could kind of tell, that in the original trailer, when you saw Samus going into that Federation base, Psylocke came out and then a portal came up. Samus appeared into this new environment. Now we know that it's this planet, Viewros, and she appears here now and doesn't know why. And possibly because of the transportation effect or whatever it is, it has that purple power infused in her body, basically, or her suit. And this, of course, reminds me of Metroid Prime 2, having this different world you're going to, and the teleporting and everything. But this, like, look at this. Look at the detail here. This is insane. Like, obviously, we've done a lot of research on this game's development. And remember that they were hiring, Retro Studios were hiring developers that were working on stuff exactly like this for this game for the past 5 years, 6 years, really. Storyboard artists and basically like set piece artists who were designing environments to make them look beautiful. And we knew pretty much that it was going to look like something like this once we could actually see the game in action. And they did not disappoint at all. So yeah, Planet Viewros, and we have like these little like birds, flying about, gigantic tree in this planet, and yeah, it's just insanely detailed. And this does not look like a Switch game. This looks like you're looking like a PlayStation 4 game or so. It just looks that impressive. Like this is amazing. Yeah, and dare I say, it looks even improved a bit over the original trailer that we saw too, back in 2024. Here you see the bridge in the background, and we'll get to that in the trailer here. And I remember I was gonna do a video a few months ago or a month ago or so about an update of Metroid Prime 4 with speculation about what this bridge and how the design looked. To me, it looks similar to Skytown from Metroid Prime 3. And as we know, Skytown was made by the Chozo. But as we can see here, this is actually a new alien race that they have here. And we see it when Samus does the scan right here of this statue. Ancient Lemorne sculpture carved from a single stone with identical dimensions to similar statues. A receptacle for a psychic mote is built into its forehead. A psychic mote. Yeah, so this looks like Samus is just discovering this right now, and she's going to find out what this is all about, because they talk about giving her psychic powers. So if we continue here. And I really like how the scan visor actually doesn't really change like anything. It just like actually just scans directly from Samus's view visor. So like your normal view, you can also just scan. You don't have to have a completely different visor change the entire look of the screen. It's just going to highlight certain objects, which makes it less evasive, I would say, on the viewing experience. That you're just going to highlight what you're scanning, and the rest of the area is still going to look, pretty much the same, which is really cool, I think. I think that's a great visual addition that makes it less, maybe jarring for certain players. But if you look at what this scan says here, it says beetle variant nest composed of hardened mud and clay. It is fragile enough that a single powerful blow would shatter it. Okay, so typical Metroid Prime, hints here. In the original Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 and even 3, they all had similar types of seeing things they would say on the scan visor will give you hints of what you could do to break open something, either with your charge beam or a missile. And this is exactly the same here. So you see, you're gonna blow that up right there with a charge beam. And this looks almost like the wave beam because it's purple. Kind of reminds me of that. But obviously, Samus has been infused by this new power. Likely the psychic ability power or whatever it's going to be called. But man, yeah, that is so cool. Let's see. Can we slow that down a bit? Let's see. Let's slow this down. So I just want to see how this beam looks here in slow motion. Destructible environment. Obviously, it's pre-baked in. You're not gonna be able to destroy every little rock, but yeah, look at that. Wow. So yeah, this is like fulfilling dreams here. Like this is exactly what I wanted. Like Retro Studios is fulfilling exactly what I wanted from this game. From what I could tell from the trailer, it's giving me what I want as a fan. It's giving me very claustrophobic environments, extremely high detailed graphics, and amazing looking lighting. And like all the ambience is there that you'd expect. Yeah, so you see you have all the the particles floating around, and you have this beautiful looking, ambient light here. And, it's something similar to Metroid Prime Remastered. This is pretty much what they were doing there as well, but this looks even better. Like, I said many times, I thought Metroid Prime Remastered was the best looking Switch game. I do think now that, of course, from what I'm seeing here, this looks like the best looking Switch game I've ever seen, like easily. Metroid Prime Remastered was based on a different design based on the GameCube game. It had to emulate that and make it, look pretty much the same. This is a brand new game that they can design from the ground up. Brand new graphics. It's not trying to emulate or basically remake something that was made in 2002 like the original Metroid Prime game. This is a brand new game, brand new art, brand new everything. So this is the kind of stuff that makes me really excited for this game. This is the kind of stuff that I want. This is what I've always wanted in a game, that big immersion, getting you in there with all the beautiful lighting and effects, and it's just like you get lost in these environments. That's exactly what you want from a Metroid Prime game, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
She's not alone though. Abhorrent.
All right, so these creatures
living in the jungle.
Yeah, these look like the creatures from Brio in Metroid Prime 3. They have, what? How many arms do they have here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that they have 2 legs and 4 arms, pretty much. So I think that's the same type of creature in Metroid Prime 3. And I did look it up. Because, like I said, I saw this earlier, and I was like, wait a minute. So it's either the same type of creature on a different planet or a variant of them. But those things are called Reptilicus. So those also have 4 arms and 2 legs, but the back of them looked a little different in Metroid Prime 3. I looked this up. But yeah, their heads here have different types of hair, you could say, or tentacles, or whatever those are. I don't think they're hair, but yeah, look at that. Creature design looks really cool though. So yeah, the combat looks very, very similar to Metroid Prime 3. It looks like Samus, you know, while you're shooting with Samus, you can kind of readjust your aim there by likely tapping the aim button or lock on button. Yeah, it looks like the lock on is kind of light, and what I mean by that is like it doesn't appear to be a super like hard lock on. It doesn't look so jarring like in the original games. Because when you locked on or when you aimed on something in the original games, the screen would readjust like really kind of like rigid, you know. I didn't really dislike that, but it was more noticeable to the eyes. So the screen was readjusting. This doesn't look quite as jarring. It looks more natural flowing. You can tell that she's locking on there with her beam, but it's not quite as jarring. It's more smooth. Yeah. And back to this bridge here. This reminds me of Doom Eternal. The second level of the game. I think it's called Extala or something like that in Doom Eternal. But yeah, the art design looks very similar to that castle-like, bridge-like outdoor area that's high above the ground. They did the same type of art design in Doom Eternal, and it looked fantastic. So obviously, Retro Studios, id Software, they got some of the best artists out there. It looks amazing. All right, so she's getting that psychic power, psychic abilities. Yeah, and look at this environment, though. Wow. Yeah, the stone and rock designs are incredible. And it looks like with the psychic abilities, you're going to be able to interact with this world. Just like what you'd expect with the Metroid Prime game, being able to unlock new areas with this ability. That's classic Metroid Prime. And this is a brand new ability, though. So looks like you're getting these orbs that are using that same power, and with her psychic abilities now, so she's able to actually kind of like use the Force, almost like in Star Wars, grab and pull things and make them levitate. And this ability to make your beam move after you shoot it, that's brand new. It's never been done before in a Metroid Prime game. We don't know 100% for sure if this is just an option, or if it's always going to do this when you shoot it. Because I believe it only shows her shooting this that one time. So I would assume it'll be optional. Maybe you can shoot it regularly, or then shoot it and then make it control after you shoot it. Maybe by holding a button down or something like that. So here we have, it looks like you can lock on to certain objects here and then move them. I bet you this is going to be using the Switch 2 mouse capabilities, when no doubt they're going to have the Switch 2 version of this. And we'll get to that in a second. Why we kind of assume pretty heavily this is going to be a Switch 2 version. So lock on, move up. That's a very specific movement that would be perfect for a mouse. So you can kind of just move your mouse that way. That would be cool. Again, not like game changing necessarily, but a cool thing. The Lamorne aliens. So not the Chozo, even though those things look. This looks a lot like the Chozo to me. This looks like the art that they use for Samus Returns, or even in Metroid Dread. They had the flashbacks of Samus in the past from Metroid 2. And then at the end of Metroid Dread, when you beat the game, you unlock art that looked very similar to this. but it was Chozo. But they had different types of designs on their heads, and these are obviously not Chozo. So it's going to be, this game is taking something very similar, I think, to Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, where you actually are in contact with a different alien race, and they're giving you complete different powers. But that's not to say the Chozo won't be in Metroid Prime 4. We don't know yet. This is just one environment, one planet. We don't know if there's other planets still. It seems like maybe this is the only planet, but there can't just be a forest area in this game. We know Metroid Prime, it doesn't work that way. We're only seeing a very, very small amount of the game here. So most likely this is just one of the environments, that we're going to have other types of environments too. But this definitely whets your appetite for what we're going to see soon. Probably, maybe even next week at the Switch 2 Direct. We don't know yet. We'll talk about that though, like I said. So yeah, here we have this lush, beautiful environment here, full of detail and leaves and flowers. I mean, this is just incredible art design. Like, most likely these are just, static textures that they don't move. I'm pretty sure. I don't see any animations there, but like, this is a very common PlayStation 4 type of art design. I remember in God of War Ragnarok and God of War 2018, Sony Santa Monica Studios, great developer, but a lot of those same graphic designers and artists from that game and other games from PS4 and Sony's first party studios, they were actually moved and worked on Metroid Prime 4. We have this confirmed. We've already shown all the information. So this type of design is very much something that games like Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, like, this is very Sony first party-esque here. This type of art design, I've seen it a lot. And to see in a Retro Studios first party game from Nintendo, I think this looks beautiful, because you're using Retro Studios art in a Metroid Prime environment. So you have that mixture of realism and fantasy here, and it looks absolutely incredibly beautiful. Like, seriously. And then you have these statues in the background, likely the Lemorne race, right? Statues of them. And we have Samus going through this environment here in her morph ball. You see that in slow motion here. It's really, really fast. Wow. Yeah, so you got the up close texture detail. Then it zooms out. All the detail remains. No detail loss. Looks fantastic. All right, then we have more of that movement and doing it in slow motion still. This looks like they're using the Switch. This has the ability, basically is showing you these movements here, circular movements, movements in rotation. That to me hints that they could be using the Switch 2 controllers, the Joy-Cons here, for that as an option. Beautiful lighting. Here we have a Metroid taking control of a creature here. I don't think it's this creature, and maybe it is. I don't know if that's what they're trying to show here, because maybe this is the same environment that Samus is fighting. It's hard to tell if this is the same camera, if the camera is showing the same area, or if this is a different area. Metroid goes into this creature gets angry, and then it switches to this plant-like creature. And so yeah, it's probably a different enemy creature, but that's very, very reminiscent of the first boss in Metroid Prime 1, where you're fighting the big plant, mantid creature, or plant creature. Affected by the sun, Carvex. And in fact, it looks really similar to that Metroid Prime 1 because of the spikes coming out of the ground here. Very similar to Metroid Prime 1 here.
After being summoned to Viewros, the threads intertwining beyond space and time are beginning to weave
Interesting.
a new tale.
Cool, very cool, but obviously that's not really that much to go on. Coming in 2025, but there's more to this here. We have this brand new suit that we're seeing Samus wear. And you can tell that Samus is. I saw some people thinking that maybe this is a bad Samus or something like that, but the hip movement, see that hip movement, that, and same thing with the orb here on her helmet, same visor. This I'm pretty sure is Samus. It just was showing off a brand new suit, same purple stuff on the suit, same power beam, pretty much. It's the same. So yeah, this is got to be Samus, I would say. We've already seen Stylux, so we'll have to wait and see what this suit can do, but wow, does it look good. All right, so let's go back to 2025. Coming in 2025, no actual release date. Now, the only reason why I think they would be doing this is because the Switch 2 has not been shown yet, and it was actually revealed by Nintendo themselves today that the Switch 2 will have Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games. They confirmed this, and we go to this post here that I had here regarding the virtual game cards. Nintendo announced that, how they worked and everything. If you want to check that out, check out the Nintendo Direct. But they said that compatible systems must be linked to a Nintendo account to use virtual game cards. Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games and Nintendo Switch 2 edition games can only be loaded on a Nintendo Switch 2 system. So this means that the Switch 2 will have cross-gen games. Nintendo's confirming cross-gen here, which means that it's going to have the Nintendo Switch 2 version of a Nintendo Switch 1 game, which heavily hints that Metroid Prime 4 will, in fact, have a Nintendo Switch 2 edition game. And how could you not, with the game that focuses on graphics this much? It's got to be a given at this point that Metroid Prime 4 is going to have a Switch 2 edition. This, I would say, is, obviously not open world, but has larger environments like this, and it doesn't lose any detail. It still looks fantastic, and it runs at 60 frames per second, and it has extremely high detail textures, amazing lighting effects for a Switch game, and looks darn near close to PlayStation 4. So yes, hands down, best looking Switch game that there is. They're probably going to announce the release date along with the Switch 2, of course. And like I said, I have a huge Switch 2 video coming up, so stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about that soon. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this analysis of Metroid Prime Beyond, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Please hit the like button for me if you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Take care.